I feel good about where we are. We've been preparing a long time since we've met in February. I say met, that was when I first got here. We met in February, went through the off-season program. We went through spring ball. We went through the new summer that the NC2A put together, went through fall camp. So we're ready to go to battle together. They're in a good place right now for a Tuesday type of practice for our game this weekend, and I like where we are. I like how we've grown to get to know each other, and all that, and things are, all pistons are firing right now. We got tomorrow a good Wednesday, a walk through on Thursday, run through on Friday, and let's go out, put a ball down, play some football on Saturday.
This defense from Mississippi State's experience, Ryan told us that yesterday. When you look at this group and kind of talk to them about what they faced last year, what do you see from this defense that kind of stands out to you trying to prepare for it?
Yeah, these guys are what you want as a defense on your side, meaning that they're big, aggressive, athletic, strong in the front. They got linebackers that are big, that can play in the box and run sideline to sideline. They're long in the secondary. They got good cover guys at corner. They got safety that like to come down and hit, but they're long in the second. So they're a very, very, very good defense that we got to be able to come out and execute our game plan, and take care of the little things. You're going to hear every coach in the country probably say it this year or this week. You got to eliminate week one stuff. And week one stuff is what? This stuff is turnovers, is penalties, is what I refer to as self-inflicted wounds, you know what I mean? Where you're hurting yourself. And if we avoid that and hold on to the football and execute, we're going to hang around. We're going to be in the game. We're going to make a game out of it and put our best foot forward. But they're a very good defense that doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. And like we said, experience is something you can't coach. So.
What I was going to ask you in terms of, I know being clean is important in every game, but this first game in particular in terms of penalties, how important is it to make sure that Memphis isn't the team that beats itself in that area?
Yeah, there's no question. And you said it, man. It's every game you talk about that. We need to stay on course. We need to get 4 yards on first down, 4 yards on second down, and put ourselves into third and short situations. Stay out of third and long situations where they can put their third down specific defenses in the game and get you behind the stick. So we got to stay on course, and that's as simple as one, not hurting yourself as far as penalties and stuff like that, which I just made mention to. Obviously, holding on to the ball, we refer to them as drive killers. Anything that gets us off course, a sack, a negative play, a penalty, obviously the ultimate drive killer, not having the ball anymore. So we got to avoid those. We got to keep those to a minimum, stay on course, put ourselves in a good third and short, third and medium situation, and then execute on third down and take advantage of each drive that we have.
One of the things Ryan said when you were hired was, you weren't going to bring a system in here and change all sorts of offensive schemes that this team was doing already. One of the things he liked about you is you kind of fit yourself to a personnel you have. I guess this might sound simplistic. How do you go about doing that? And why did you decide at some point in your career, like, I'm not going to be a system guy. I'm going to, be someone who is adaptable like that?
I mean, that question could be a long story. That being said, I think any offensive coordinator who ends up going to a different place, that needs to be their first question. Sometimes when people I interview with ask me, what do you do on offense? My answer to them is that depends what you have. It depends what type of quarterback you have. It depends what type of receivers you have. It depends how you're built. Not to go deep into my career, but I went from FIU in Miami up to Montana. Completely different type of athlete. So systems change there. Then you go from a Nevada, which is similar to Montana, down to a Sam Houston in Texas, different type of. So you kind of switch, predicated upon what that team has and who we are, mainly at the quarterback position. Are you a running athletic quarterback? Are you a pocket quarterback? Are you an RPO guy? That type of stuff. One thing that me and Ryan really hit off about is our philosophies were very similar. And that, basically I think that's what he was talking about when he said our philosophies are very similar on how offense should be run, what has to happen first, what has to happen second, and then how you attack a defense. We're very similar to begin with before we met. So I think that kind of helped out.
With this specific group, what's it been like, implementing yourself into what they do as opposed to some other places?
You know what? It's been very good. We're a very balanced operation. We have the type of tight ends that I look for. We have the type of receiving core where we have a lot of really good receivers. We have a running back core. We got a big offensive line. So it kind of fits into what I like to do, what they were doing here, what Ryan believes an offense should be. Coach Silverfield believes an offense should be, and that's kind of how it's gelled, and that's kind of how we've made it gel and put both systems together to form our system that we're going to show and go in the game with on Saturday.
speaking of the running backs, obviously Jay's on the depth chart behind Brandon. You kind of mentioned what you liked about Brandon. With those two guys, what do you see them presenting to this offense, having those two guys as now kind of like the lead dogs of this?
They're efficient runners. They're downhill runners. You don't see a lot of false steps with those guys. You don't see either one of these guys trying to put a foot in the ground and break outside. They're getting efficient yards. They're trusting their reads. They're hitting their holes, and they're strong runners. They fall forward, and that's something we're preaching in all games, specifically this game. Get one more step in the ground and fall forward. Real life, that's going to be 3-4 yards, and that's a big difference of maybe a 3rd and 2 to a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. Huge difference in those situations. So they're efficient runners that run with power, trust their reads. And again, like I said, there's not many false steps with those guys, so positive yards happen.
With Brandon, too, have you just seen you're getting used to him now, but do you just see a better confidence in from someone who's played a lot of football, but also is obviously trying to get past some of the mistakes he made last year?
Yeah, last year is completely in the past. What I've seen since the guy wasn't here last year, so what I've seen from him is a guy who comes to work every single day, has confidence in who he is as a player, and is in a good place right now. He's having fun playing football. When Brandon's having fun playing football, he's a really good player.
Your left tackle is a redshirt freshman in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell us a little bit about what impressed you about to give him this big role?
Yeah, my man Mac is a big, long, athletic tackle I've been around. So yeah, he's a first year starter, and he's going to go into a serious atmosphere down there. And we got, like everybody in our offense, he has to be able to handle the elements and go play. But if he lets his athletic ability and his length and his coaching he's getting from Coach Bridge take over, he's going to be just fine.
Everybody got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. How have you been dealing with what have you been doing to help your team to deal with adversity other than the cowbell?
Well, that to me, that starts in the off season. So if you guys would come to the 5:30, 6 o'clock morning workouts, we put them in situations where they are down. We put them in situations where they are fatigued. We put them in situations where they are tired, and that's where you get that out of them, where they can be able to handle the adversity stuff. In practice, from the day we met, from spring ball 1 to fall camp, whatever number that became this year, we put them in the worst situation possible in practice, and see how they play themselves out of it. So all that type of stuff is handled in the off season, and that's, to me, that's how you win football games. It's not when you're winning by 4 scores, how you playing. It's when adversity strikes, when you need to answer the call, when you need a touchdown, the cowbells are ringing like sons of guns over there. Can you focus in? Can you trust your teammates? Can you make your play and execute? And that's really what it's all about. We've been practicing that since the day we met this off season.
Looking at the receiver depth, what was it about your 3-star receivers that you liked in putting in that position as you look at?
They're experienced guys. They're experienced guys who, again, we go through their, what happened in that receiver room. They had a guy last year, 3rd-round draft pick, outstanding football player. A lot of the pass game went through him. A tight end who a lot of the pass game went through. So those guys were secondary, sometimes tertiary type receivers. Right now, the balls, they're the guys. You know what I mean? And again, I wasn't here last year, so I can't say that. But what I've seen since day 1 of spring ball was a confidence in those guys. And sometimes I see it as overconfidence, but I'd rather, where they make a mistake here, they make a mistake there, they make a mistake, they're still confident. Like at some point you got to stop making mistakes. You know what I mean? But the confidence is there for that. And to me, that's important. That comes with experience, and that comes with, hey, that 3rd-round draft pick's not here anymore. That tight end who we put 25% of our pass game through is not here anymore. Now it's my turn to step up. Now it's my turn to shine. And you've seen that from not only those 3, but all those guys on the depth chart that we expect to play for us on Saturday.
How do you kind of get them to get in that mindset you want in terms of, at some point you got to stop making mistakes and being overconfident? I guess, you never, man. We're all alpha males out there, and arrogance is a compliment in the game of football. You need to have that. So really it's just coaching them up so that, again, I've said it a bunch of times, so that mistake that happens in practice 1 doesn't happen again in practice 2. And we've seen that from those guys, so that's really what it's all about. But I would never coach a guy out of confidence.
How important is getting the lead against a team that wants to control the ball by working down?
Yeah, I think, any game it's easier to play in front, but we need to get a fast start on these guys, and then we need to weather the storm. They're a really, really good football team, both sides of the ball and on special teams. So at some point, we're going to be down at some point. Adversity is going to be sitting in front of us at some point. Like we tell them, that phone's going to be ringing, and we better be set ready to answer that call. And situation we put them in, like I alluded to the question over here. I feel they're ready for that, and I feel they're going to step up when that situation happens, and it will happen. This game is not going to be a clean walk. There's going to be some adversity. There's going to be some situations, and someone's going to step up for them.
How much fun is this for you going into a situation like this? You know you're behind enemy lines, so to speak, and you're playing an opponent that has their own little thing with the cowbells and all that stuff, and plus they're good.
It's like I've been saying for a while now, with everything this offseason that's gone on with college football and a lot of negative talk that's been going around the college football world. I'm just excited to go out and play a football game, coach a football game, watch these guys compete, not on a practice field in fall camp, not on a practice field in spring ball, not on the practice field in July. You know what I mean? I want to watch them go out there, and I want to see them make a mistake and how they bounce back from that, make a great play, and how they climb on that stuff. And to me, that's what college football is all about, and that's the fun of it. That's what I'm excited for. I'm assuming the rest of the country's excited for that as well. Enough of the talk about college football. Let's just go out and play the game.
What do you think your stamp on this offense, or what do you hope it'll be? I know you're adapting, but like looking at general terms.
Wins. That's it. That's all we worry about. How do you win a game? You score one more point than the other team does. That's what it's all about. We get graded on wins and losses.
Thanks, Coach.
You got it.
Thank you.